Hello and welcome. I am Ligma69 and this is episode 4 of me creating my top-down shooter, shoot 'em all, whatever you want to call it game. And today we'll try to work on some things, mainly with the enemy. So I want to make the enemies, currently we have one enemy, so I want to make it so that the game generates enemies using some sort of pathing and logic. So I want to figure out an algorithm for doing that, and then I want to also just polish whatever I haven't done up so it works better than it currently does. But for now, let's look at what we have. So at this point, we have this so we can move around. We have a moving enemy that comes towards the player. We can dash with a cooldown of 5 seconds. So it does take a little bit until you can do it again, but you can. You can also turn the side of the knife, so it will go on to a different side. The indicator true or false says that. So, if you go, for example, left, right now it will be on top, but if I set it to false, and let's say I wait for the cooldown to cool down, and I go here now, it goes on the bottom. So that's how it works. You can also shoot. And both the dashing and shooting does damage, but the dashing does do more damage. But it's just cooldown and all that, so that like balances out. And of course, the actual mechanics need to be honed up later. But for now, we have this. So yeah. So currently, the way we have this defined is we have the enemies and the character, and so on, all like one enemy in the main scene. So I want to get rid of this. And I want to implement it so that the game generates these enemies, like multiple of them, using some sort of algorithm. For now, we can just have it start wherever the hell it starts. Like we can define its starting point. Okay, it's where it is. So we can just like set some static point for the start, so we can test the actual generation, and then we can implement the actual logic for where to spawn it. But for now, we can go to our character. Actually, not our character. I wanted it in our main scene. And I think we have our enemy spawn. So we want to make a variable that's something like var. Let's say like vary. And actually, we need to go here. So yeah, I guess we should go with like var enemy equals to. Then it's not that we would do enemy dot tscn. Yeah, so now we should be preloading the enemies as the as a thing. So now we should have a variable called enemy that has like this, like the class of enemy. Then we need to go. I guess we can just like do one at the beginning. I don't want to buffer like creating them like midway. So let's say bar enemy equals to new enemy. I think that's how it works. Let's check. Let's check. Where are we using the bullets? I guess we can just search. Ah, yeah, no, it's dot instantiate. I'm getting mixed up with dot instantiate. Yeah, that should set us with an enemy. For now, it shouldn't really do anything. It's just okay. There is an enemy. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. But now we can say to our enemy to do things. So let's say that, for example, we can add child enemy. So this should just add in an enemy. We don't know where it adds it in. It's a default position, but you can see it's there. So now we just so now we are generating this instead of having it in the class. So we can actually, now we should be able to remove this, and then we just remove the dollar symbol. So now we're not talking about the class enemy, or like we're not talking about an instance of the class defined here. We're talking about the variable we define elsewhere. What's the issue? Oh yeah, we are not. we need to define the actual variable above, and then just enemy equals that. Now that should work. Oh yeah, it doesn't. How do we do this? I don't think this would work, but let me try it anyways. Yeah, I don't think that would be correct. I need to figure out how to do this one. Yeah, so the cooldown is not declared here. Okay, let's see. Enemy dot. Oh, for fuck's sake. Why does the... Yeah, I know there's an error. I want to get... I want to see if I can, like... Get child. Can we do, like... No. Dot. Why is the autofill so shit? For no reason. Like, yeah, I know there's an error, but I know this. I want to fix that. Let me see if I can figure out a way to actually access that from here. Because I think there is a way. Alternatively, it might be possible to move this. No, I don't think it is possible to move this away from the... Or maybe we can like split this up so some of this moves into the enemy itself, because that should fix that issue. So let's go here and let's say, okay, punk physics process. Yeah, we just need to, I guess, define, like, call that here and then run everything else in here. Like, except for the move and slide. Like, we can move this, I think, into the actual enemy. Then we can just run, like, these commands directly, and it might work. I have no clue if it actually does, though, so... Oh yeah, and also we want to run this as, like... And then we need to fix it. Let's try this. I have no clue if it will work. The function. What? Oh yeah, we need to run delta into here. No, it should work. Yeah, let's try this. Oh yeah, it moves. Good. Got it, killer character. It doesn't recognize the hitbox though. That's a problem. So some of it is failing because of this, which makes sense actually. Kinda. Do we need the collision layer thing? I guess we do for the knife stuff. Why is that failing? Let's try to cancel these out. No, that doesn't do anything. Why is it failing though? That I do not know. Oh, that's causing errors. No, it's not helping. So there's some stuff we will have to figure out fixing, and that's... Well, this is a part of it. The question is, why is it doing this? That should not be happening. And why is it failing the collision? Why is it failing collision? Like, why is it in here failing to collide? That's one thing I don't understand. But it's one thing we have to fix. So let's figure this out. So if it's defined here, it does like detect properly with the hitboxes. So let's go to our enemy. Let's check the collision layers, I guess. Mask 1. Let's set a mask to you. Here we go. Yeah, so now it works in this manner. So it seems it hasn't saved some stuff that needed to be saved. Now there is some broken stuff, like if we go here. Oh, it doesn't actually get stuck anymore, but there's no issue I noticed before, which I want to fix. Should be easy enough. We just need to change the... Oh, it's already set to floating. Well, yeah, that was an issue before, but it seems to have fixed itself. So now we actually have a functional collision with this. This is important, so now we actually are able to move it. But we are checking for the cooldowns and all of that. Here. I don't know why this is like set to like a previous state of things. It doesn't matter. I think that's actually there to fix the like dashing and not anything else. Yeah. I need to check on the dashing functionality though, like does that work? So let's find out. Yeah. So it doesn't like break in with dashing still, which is good. So that functionality does work as intended, and the actual thing kills it's good. So our enemy is working as intended. So now we can add in a second enemy. So let's say we add in enemy 2, and then now we should get 2. Yeah, so now we should be able to get that 30 by second one. Yeah, I mean it should function the same in terms of like breaking. So now we just need to add in the movement for that as well. I think it might be good to make like a list of them. Or like I guess we just like apply groups, because group effects again, because we have the group of enemies. So I think we're using that here already. Yeah, so I think we can use like... Okay, let's see. Get stream dot... Why are you broken? Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't want to work. I don't know why it doesn't want to work on all bloody hell. Dot call groups. Like, can we set like dot... Like, can we like get group? Okay, so let's see. No, but I think we can just like make a list of those. So instead of like doing this, we can say that... I guess we begin... This is annoying, but I think there's a mechanic for dealing with this, so... I think the reason why it's an issue is because we're like defining their angle here, but there is a project I think I can reference to. This is like the documentation project from Godot for like their first 2D game. So we can just use this as a reference and set this to work as intended. So we need to figure out... Yeah, so here we like just like make a new one. I guess we can just like call them inside of I mean, I guess if we make like a function for the timeout, we are not actually doing it ready, so we can like just like have it all inside like... I guess we'll like, if we go back to here, I think we'll have all of the things instead of having them in like physics process. I think we'll just have it all in like a separate thing. Or I guess we can just have it inside here, like if like, and then just like run everything and check for our timeout. on our like timers and shit. Oh yeah, I am dumb with the timers. I know why we are failing now, because we are not calling like an on ending. The so we should. I mean, this seems to work anyways, but I think we can actually fix a lot of things with our cooldown. So for some reason, we should go. We should anyways do this. I don't know why I'm this like dumb. So let's say timeout. Yeah. Let's say cooldown stop. I don't know why I forgot about this. Down dot stop. But I think that should solve a whole bunch of like potential problems. Oh yeah, that's not how we want it to work. Yeah, now we should get it to not have any weird issues. Yeah, just like this just like explicitly stops the timer. So I think that's what they want to have. I don't know why I don't have that until now. So now let's go back to main and let's see what we can do about this. So the big thing about this project is that we are on like a timer timeout creating the mobs and like they just go in a straight line. But in this case, you want to make them like go towards the character, which is a problem. We could add a signal to emit the position of the character continuously, and then run that as like then get that inside enemy, and then use that to just like run everything instead of having like a physics process here. We can just have it as a physics process here, and then run the collision things inside. So I think that's one process we can do and one that actually makes sense. Because if you can have everything inside of enemy, I think it will make it a lot easier to deal with the whole generating. Like having, if you can have the movement inside of them already, that would help a lot. Because for now we are just setting, okay, you need to move and slide. But if you can have that defined here, I think that will like help us. But then again, like I guess we just instead of setting that, so let's make a let's try this approach. So signal. Oh yeah, we can't even access the signal. Fuck. No, that won't work because we're not defining it as like an individual object. So we can't even send a signal to it. So now we can either define everything in here, but then it won't apply for all of the enemies. But then they'll like, I guess it doesn't even make a difference. This is frustrating. Can we just add in multiple children of enemy? Instead of like adding in different ones? No. How do I do this? Oh yeah, how am I doing? Like I'm using a reference for this because I am a bit lost. Uh, we'll use this one. I have my platform generation that I made for Shelltrap Go before. I think that has some relevant things. So we should be able to check. So where are we actually generating the platforms? Blah blah blah. Make platform. So we are making them individually within this function. And I guess we call that when we actually generate it. So I guess we can make like a function that deals with the whole like enemy making blah 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 thing. And like sets them to follow their characteristics. And then we just call that here instead of trying to call this directly. And same thing, like instead of calling the enemy here, we just like fucking call the function. So I think that's the way to go. I don't think we are like defining the platforms themselves here or anything like that. Yeah, we do have a list of them, which we use later, but I think that's a good approach. So let's say func make enemies, enemy, and then we can say, okay, look. look, we can add in an enemy as a child, whatever, we don't care, and then we can remove these two. And then we can add in like, but then how do we, oh yeah, we add you to the list. Then for every enemy, okay, so var enemies, enemy list equals to just like an empty list of them. Then for enemy in enemy list. I have no clue if this is correct in syntax. I always forget the for loop syntaxing. Yeah, we kind of have that. I don't know what the issue with this one is now. So there's some issue with this. I'm assuming it's with my for loop. Yeah, so let's check. I think I have a list already, so we can use that as our reference. I just don't know where it is. Is it inside Bullet? Is it even in this game? Because I don't know. I've worked with lists of things before, but I think, okay, we're gonna see. So I think we have for loop here, so we can check for I in range. No, that's not what we need. I guess we could use just like a for normal for loop if we want to, but I want to find a for loop of the actual list. Why is it even acting this way? Why is it complaining about that of all things? Like, there's all the things it could be complaining about. I just don't know why it's complaining about that. For var enemy, let's see. Yeah, the thing is, we are, like, this is not the correct error message. This is not helping, because, oh yeah, I get it. It's this. For enemy, in enemy list, okay, so let's see if this works. No, it does not. I mean, it makes sense. And so we add, then we add enemy list dot append enemy. Okay, let's try this now. So for whatever reason, oh yeah, we're not running it. That's why it's failing. So let's do make enemy, and let's try it. Oh yeah, it works. Perfect. So now we should actually do this twice with different enemies. So now we should have two enemies, technically. And we do, I mean, we can see them kind of glitching out. Uh, maybe. But I think there's two of them. Oh yeah, I guess there is a second one left. Or like whatever, I don't know. But I think it works. So now we should set your starting position. So let's have a function for func start. We'll have a function called start, and we'll just say here, okay, look, uh, start equals to, okay, so position equals to dot x plus equals to pos. So we'll just say, okay, look, we take pos here, and we're saying, okay, look, your x is this much bigger. And then we'll just put in like 1 and 100. Then we'll say enemy dot start pos. So now we should get some different positions for them. Yeah, we do. So you can, this is not a final implementation, but we see, okay, there is, in fact, two of them. And we can add a third one, and so on. So now we should have 4 different enemies, and they should all be moving towards me. Oh, we only have 3. Why do we have only 3? Oh, I guess this one is like colliding with the other one. We should make you like 1,000. Here we go. Now we should have 3 separate ones. 4 separate ones, sorry. Yeah, we have 4 enemies chasing me. I guess I can set their layer mask to include their own selves as well, so they won't like do what they're doing now. So we'll set their mask to, let's check. So now they shouldn't be able to just like get together into like a same pile. But now they of course damage each other. So yeah, now they kill each other now. But I think we'll leave that be for the time being. I guess we could like set our character to be, instead of just being hit, we can say player hit. And then we can enemy, instead of saying hit, okay, we do player hit. This way we can separate. This way we can separate between the enemies hitting each other and the enemies hitting the player. So now they won't kill each other, but they'll kill me still. Yep. And do I like die immediately if it's like two enemies? No. They only have like the same timer. Whatever. I think we can deal with that. What if... I don't understand these errors sometimes. Oh yeah, it's putting in letters. I hate when it does that. It's an issue with Godot 4, I think. It like puts in like random like it doesn't take key bindings always properly, which is like in the engine, which is very weird. Okay, so for now we have this. So for somehow we have to figure out like our whole cooldown thing. I think it has to do with how we are starting the cooldown. So it just runs from the get-go, and that's not ideal. We want it to run from the immediate attack point. So like it shouldn't be running inside of like it makes sense. This is how it should behave. I guess it doesn't actually run a cooldown. Okay, let's just check and set it to like, let's set their damage to fucking like higher. Let's set it to like 50. And let's set our enemies to, let's add in like more enemies again. So let's add in all four. So no, that isn't enough to kill me, but if it is the cooldown, it is. So we go here and I die. But let's say I go here and then I go to another one and it kills me immediately. Actually, let's increase our cooldown again here. So let's set this to like, a nice flat 2 seconds. So now it should actually take longer. Yeah, so now we can actually check that, yeah, it does in fact work on an individual enemy basis. That's how I want it to work. So we have a functional enemy now, thank God. And now let's, I guess, get rid of these extra enemies. For now, we'll just have this position. I don't care, but we'll have to figure out a way to fix this. But I think so. Also, I think we changed this to actually be just straight up position equals to position. So, I guess we give it like vector2 dot. I guess we just give it a 0 for now. Yeah, so now it's calling it a 0, but we can change that to down the line. For now, we'll have it be like this. Now, I think this is where that example project actually comes in handy, because it has like a whole like thing for doing what we're effectively trying to do, which is give it like a random position around like outside the screen or whatever. So I think we can this is actually where this one will come in handy. I'm not sure where it's defined though, because it's a long time since actually they did anything with this. Is like the first like beginning project thing, whatever, like kind of pointless. But anyways, so yeah, first of all, I think we can, okay, what's the deal with the path? So let's go to main. Mob path. So yeah, we have set this to be like around the screen. I think that's a good one for us as well. So let's, I guess, add into our main. So let's make a path under main. That's like just a path. And then let's say path. Add point. Oh yeah, we don't want to do this yet. We want to enable all of this shit. And then we add it in. Okay. let's just get rid of this. Let's say we add it here. We add it not there, no. And then we put it here on the bottom. And then we also just like throw one in this corner. Yeah, so... And then I think there's just an option to close it. Yeah, so now it's all closed. We have a path. So we had a sub path follow. So we can name this like spawn path. I think that's kind of similar to what it's there, but... Oh yeah, I guess this makes sense, but... Spawn location. So this should be a path follow, which basically just means that, okay, we have a... It follows the path. So then we can go into our scripts and we can start implementing whatever the fuck exists here. And add in like add in some... Yeah, so we have some things here, we don't care about that. What the fuck is our pawn location? Bob path. Oh, I guess that's an issue with this one. Yeah, so it would be... I don't know why. But now, like, for context, this one works like... Okay, so it's still not... There's something broken about this, but it should be fine as a code. So I think we can just, like... do this. For whatever reason, it's... Oh yeah, it's... That's wrong. I'm testing with this game now, but... I know this worked before I broke it. Yeah, so now we can see it, they're actually spawning randomly at the edges. So this is how I actually want it to work, so it will spawn like... at some random location along this path. Which is how it's... how you want. So we can just like take this shit and implement it in our game. So let's go to our enemy. I guess we can go to like ready and say, okay, look, we call this friend F, we call this, and then now we need to change that to spawn path slash spawn location. So now we should actually get that, and it should work, but it doesn't do anything. Good. Then we can set post to equal to variable post. We can equal to that, and then we can rename this to like... I guess we can just call it like enemy spawn location for now. This is a term I want to use. And now we should get like straight up random positioning out of the screen for the spawning. Yeah, so it's spawning itself randomly, in some direction, which is ideal. This is how we want them to behave. For now, of course, we don't really have our things properly defined in terms of like scale and all of that, so it will just kind of put itself somewhere. But yeah, we can see it is randomly spawning somewhere, so that's how we want it to work. What if we make like infinite ones of them? This is fun, always. So if you put this inside here, now it's like a fuckload of enemies. Yeah, I think it's because our camera goes further out than the actual screen does. So let's go adjust our camera zoom to be like... Let's just make this to equal 1. Like, why should that be different? We can change the scale of things instead. Yeah. So now you can see it's really like putting it out there, but it works. Oh yeah, we don't want this here actually. Like, we don't want that. For now. We want to have a clear cooldown. for it, like they'll come so often. Yeah, but for now we have this. So let's make another timer again. I have timers inside of like main, but yeah, I think it's better to make them inside main because it's more to do with general like spawning times. So timer. Let's call you like spawn timer. And this time we'll just implement it directly in the ending of this timer. We might have to actually do this with the rest of the stuff as well. I don't know why I'm being dumb with the code, but I am. But I think we can change a lot of the code to actually use the timeout mechanic a lot better. So we can connect you to main. And then we can like do okay on spawn timer timeout. We do all of this. And at ready we don't do shit. So first of all we can say okay, spawn timer dot stop. Just make sure it stopped. And then we also like restart you again at the end. So start. I don't know if we need this, I'll just have it there for now. Then we check how much our timer actually is because it might be too little. Yeah, let's make it like every 2 seconds for now. So we should be getting something. We don't get something, which is fascinating. Okay, so it's not actually... I guess we need to like... Let's check. I don't think it runs from the beginning this way either way, so... Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, now we're generating them in accordance with the timer. Then now we are actually generating enemies with the timer. That's like how we actually like definitely want this to work. So yeah, now we can actually get enemies. Though it doesn't seem to be able to kill me while I move, which is an issue. It's like it can immediately kill me as soon as I stop moving, but... Oh yeah, they have the cooldown, that's why they can't kill me immediately. I set the cooldown to be like kinda high. So they just kinda like take their time. But that's fine. Yeah, so they do kill me. That's good. So we have our enemies, we have our timeout, we have everything we need. Good. And now we can like run around, kill the enemies. Do they like spawn inside of like basically the camera or based on the screen? I think they... Yeah, I think they spawn based on like the original screen, which is not ideal. So we do need to change like the pathing to instead of being for... Okay, let's move this path entirely. Let's get rid of this. Let's attach this all under a camera. I think that's the solution, so... I guess we just get rid of that. Or I guess we can like spawn... We can take this. We can go inside a character. We can go under our camera and we can paste it. What the fuck is this timer? I guess it's just there for some reason, like... Whatever, we'll let it be for now. Then now we just... So now it should be attached to camera instead. So now we just do, okay, character slash camera 2D slash spawn timer. Oh, that... No, no, we don't... That's fine, that can be here. Where is the pathing? Where are we doing the pathing? Ah, here we go. So we just set this to character slash camera 2D slash... Okay, so now it should actually follow the camera instead of following like... Does that not work still? No, it doesn't. Fuck. Ah, fucking hell. So how do we make it follow the camera? That is a problem. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's just get rid of this shit for now. Like, let's remake it entirely. So under U, we'll have a path 2D, and then under this, we'll have a path follow. Spawn path and spawn location. Okay, so we have spawn location and spawn path. So let's do this again. Let's set all of those to true. Let's add in this. I think that has to do with the section of the camera that it's actually affecting. So I guess we just like go for like, it doesn't matter too deeply. The question is which of these things is even like actually the camera. It doesn't matter too deeply right now. Let's just check if we can get it to follow the camera properly and applying like the proper side of things. So we can apply that here. Then we can apply this down here and then you down there. And then we just close you off and we save this. Let's check our script calls the things correctly with the names. Main. Yep. Now let's check. Now they should be able to spawn on all kinds of sides and not just the like that bottom corner. Of course it crashes, but yeah, they spawn from that side as well. Good. So they are spawning from like every side. But now they're no longer spawning. Or they are, but I guess I'm moving it. I guess I move faster than them, so like I just move away if I'm moving, which is not ideal. To be fair, we'll be generating a lot more of them, so yeah, let's just like reduce our like spawn timer and see how that affects things because it's too big right now. Let's make it like actually small. Let's make it like this. It will play more like how I would want it to play. Like yeah, it's more of like a type deal. Yeah, so it spawns them and I'm moving away as they go, but we have different enemy types that can like do different things. But yeah, they can do that. Yeah, and then like, of course, like we should. If like, if character is not null, just like if this isn't null, then we run this. This is a very hacky solution and mostly, I guess, temporary. But anyways, okay. So if our character dies, we shouldn't like be facing. Yeah, it doesn't crash anymore. So that's ideal. Uh, yep. So I guess we should make the enemies faster than they are. Like they're pretty slow. And it's good in some ways, but when it comes to actually running away, like it means we can like just like abuse the fuck out of like just like running faster direction. Like the enemies spawn like in one direction, I'll just run away from them. Like for some reason the actual pathing doesn't really follow like the character position properly. Like they all keep coming from the same direction. I don't know why they keep doing that because it should be following the camera now. But for whatever reason, it's stuck. Because they are all spawning from out there, which is not how I would like it to behave. Oh, of course, we are adding letters for no reason. No wonder it's providing issues. Yeah, so they get left behind and then they just keep on spawning on that a lot down there. So like at the beginning, like if I move a bit, it's fine. Like they keep spawning outside as well, but like they start coming down from only like this side eventually. And oh yeah, we can also seemingly shoot even though we are dead, which is not the ideal behavior. And they're only coming from this direction, and that's not how I want it to behave. Or maybe the path following just like takes time to catch up, I don't know. A further reason it's not spawning them like where I am, it's spawning them like based on different things. So I need a pathing to like of spawning to follow the camera. So let's try that. I mean, we can try to move away from the whole path thing and try to like just like set it manually based on like relative locations. Um, like we can just take, okay, look, we have the camera position. You take spawn it this and that away from it, and then it should spawn them based on the camera entirely. But I would ideally want to do like path logic, and of course it adds more. This is frustrating. This is so frustrating. Why does it like take my inputs to that when I'm playing the game? Anyways, let's see. Is there like a way to make this follow the camera? Okay, let's search for it, I guess. So, go to path to the path to the. Well, it found it. So let's see. Uh, let's see this. Let's see if we can. Yeah, I guess that doesn't really work, but we can. So I guess we'll have to go to a different route of going about this. So instead of wherever we're defining the position as like being based on that, we can just instead of calling that, we can set this to be like, I don't know, character slash camera. Why is it failing to like do all the filling again? Dot position. So now it should just straight up spawn it in the middle, which is not, of course. Oh no, it's spawned in the core. Oh yeah, it's. Why is the camera position there? Plus vector 2. Then we say like 100, 100. Actually, let's do like 1000 and 1000. Let's make this more fun. Okay, I guess that's too much. 100, 100. Yeah, so now it's spawning them like. It's not moving. The camera, like. It's not moving based, like. The camera is moving, but the actual, like, thing isn't for some reason. Let's see if it changes if we do it by character movement. Yeah, so now it does work. So if you move it based on character. So I guess we should move it away from the camera. So I guess we can just, like, do a thing. Actually, I think we can then continue just, like, using that. So if you just, like, take this, and then we move it to the subset of character in general. We don't want this timer thing. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't want it. And now. Oh, yeah. Let's check this. Oh, yeah, now they spawn all over the place. Well, they don't anymore, which is not ideal. So I get it still, like, doesn't really work. Like, they'll still, like, spawn from up above me. Well, there's a different algorithm for it. So we can just, like, use that different algorithm. We know what works, and so for some reason that's still like. We still would need to make you like follow the character, not the uh not your own whatever. Yeah, so it's still just like doing this directions. There's a spawning. But the good thing is we have some playable things still. I guess we just had to change from using the pathing to using different methods, which we can do. So, yeah, yeah. Who cares about that? Uh, so let's check that main. Okay. So I guess we can first of all say, okay, look, you just spawn on the fucking character. Like, so now it will actually just like straight up spawn on us and kill us like immediately. But now what we can do is we can do post.x um plus equals to rand f range. And then we can say, okay, look, let's say minus 300 to 300. So now it should position like itself like randomly within like 300. I guess we should. Okay, I have an idea. Because we want to be away from middle, so let's say first of all, uh, we want to like give it a dead zone. So if Rand Randy range 1 to 2 equals to 1, then we say post plus dot x plus equals to 300, else post dot x minus equals 300. Let's see if this works. So now they should be spawning randomly on either side. Well, randomly, but like, there's strong bias with the random in this game, but or in Godot. Yeah, so it still does seem to want to spawn, but why is that one flying off somewhere? What the fuck? Oh, I don't need the errors. Oh my god, why? This is frustrating. I'm not looking to input ace into my code, I'm looking to test play this shit. Yeah, so it does like spawn them correctly with the x-axis. So now we just need to say here like randef, okay, look. Randef range, like we can say we can say like 600 to like 1000. Let's say that. And let's see how that affects the spawning. So now they should go a bit further away. And be a little bit less of a pain to me. Like, yeah, now it's a bit more reasonable. So now they actually do kind of just like spawn straight up away from me, which is nice. And yeah, I like want to be slightly outside of the screen, so I think that's quite ideal. Of course, if I move like up or down, they get stuck up or down because we're not changing the Y yet. But we can change that quite easily. Bus.y and bus.y. There we go. So now it should actually... There should be some above me as well. I don't know why they are all spawning like below me, but... Okay, so there seems to be something... Oh yeah, we have our set plus equals here. We need minus equals here. That's why they're all spawning on the top, on the bottom. So yeah, we should start seeing them coming from like all kinds of different directions. Why is nothing coming from like the bottom corners? I guess it's just like the random functionality of this, like, being flawed. I mean, when I move, it makes sense that they like fail to like spawn appropriately. Let's set our like main character damage to like something insane. Let's start bullet damage to like, I don't know, like 200. So now this should insta kill like the enemies. It should help with like managing the situation a lot. I want to see how their like spawn patterns are. If this all spawn from these two corners, if they do, that's annoying. I mean, fair enough, but and I seem to only be spawning from like two corners, which kind of bad, but I think we can change that by changing up our algorithm. Like we can change it to like, oh yeah, because we're changing both X and Y simultaneously. So we would need to like rerun this as like yeah, this makes sense. Okay, so we just run this again separately for the Y, and then I think we are good. So let's take our pos Y and put it here, and let's take our pos Y here, and let's put that here. Okay, so now it should actually be like a random instead of like our like stupid bad random. Oh yeah, here we go. So now they're spawning like all corners. So yeah, they don't spawn like right on the flanks. I think for now that's an acceptable like reality. But I think I also want to change that at some point because it is like not the optimum behavior. I think what we can do is we can just like check, okay, look, you go this far from the character. And if it's not that far, then screw you. So we could like so like for now they'll just point the corners, which means like going up is just like a total like thread, untread. But I guess we're just adding like a third scenario where we just like don't add into it at all. But then it could break the situation and call them right upon us, which is what I want to avoid. So we should add in like. So let's actually say, okay, instead of X or Y, we can like. Uh, I think inside the Y scenarios, we can like just like run everything to check like, okay, if it's close, if like X is like 0, it can also has a chance of like some amount. It won't be like a huge chance, but so let's just, this is really bad code. I need to rework this. I know that already, but I want to get it working first. So if it's 1 again, then we can say, okay, look, post.x equals to 0. Okay, so there's a chance that we reset x to be 0, but it's only half. So now we should get a bunch from like straight x sides, or like straight above ourselves, which is not where we want it to be, but why are they like not spawning from there? Yeah, so x. Oh yeah, 0 is like the top left. Okay, so post.x equals to character dot position. The reason why we're doing it here instead of doing it like, oh yeah, we need to run this as .x and .x. I think that should fix it. The reason why I'm running it this way is because we don't want to like, we want to make sure it's only when the Y allows it to be that way. So it doesn't like completely break, and let's decrease the chance of this to like 1 in 3. And then also we can run like else if else if that equals to 2, then plus y equals to 0. So now what will actually happen is it will like either take x or y depending on how the outcome of this happens, or it will just actually go in the random position it picked. Oh yeah, we need like else if, and then we just copy paste this over. So it's only like if that isn't the case, you know, if it hasn't set the x as 0 or like as nothing, then it can also, there's a chance it will also set y as nothing. So now we should get like a whole bunch of like straight angles from both of like both sides of angles, but yeah, so now we get a bunch of those as well. Yeah, so we can say that's happening. So let's just set this to like be not else. Okay, so let's check. Okay, look, var direct. I guess like var alter chance equals to this, and then if alter chance and then we just like run this for all of these. I think that should like fix that whole issue. Oh yeah, we don't want to define it here. We want to define it like up above all of this. Like we can define it up here with position. So now we should be able to get this to like evenly spawn those two. Yeah, so now it's pretty evenly spawning them from those directions. They always decrease the chances of that like to be more in reason, because doing it like that, I guess I could just like make it like out of 2 to check on the logic sticks. So now it will either put them like no matter what, like either it will put them x neutral or y neutral, which is ideal. Yeah, so now we just make this like not 3, we make it like, I don't know, 5 or something, like something small so they actually like spawn evenly. Okay, it's still way too big, so let's try making you like 15. So if it equals to something else, then you know now they're coming out more randomly. Yeah, look at that. Now they're kind of spawning like reasonably. Ah, so now we have actually gotten like kind of a pathing. It just needs to be adjusted. It's too big, I think, with a whole bunch of them. Like they're spawning way too far away. But the solution that is quite simple. So we can set this to like, okay, be like 700. We just try around with different values, and then we deal with that. Now they should all be spawning pretty much in the same area, but the direction is like out, like of that is random. Yeah, they spawn like enough. I guess we can like set it to set randomly within, like instead of like setting it to okay, look, be outside of that. Like we can set it to be inside the zones randomly. So that would also, I think, be an improvement to logic. So yeah, let's change your logic up a bit and let's make it to be more appropriate for this. So instead of setting this, uh, How do we want to do this? Plus equals to. I guess I can just do like randaf range. I guess I can just straight up do like okay, look, DB from minus 600 up on the 600 because okay, we're defining okay, it's happening in this like middle range. So I think that's more than valid enough. Plus, oh yeah, we don't do plus equals in this case. I think that's like literally what we do. So plus equal, not plus equals, fuck. I do plus. And here we have this. So now it should, instead of doing it like, hey, we do it like in outside of that. If it equals one of these two numbers, then it will spawn somewhere in between those two, and we'll set this to 3, so it will be more likely. So now we should get a much more random distribution of spawning locations for them. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is a lot more random, which is good. So they will like, if it's far enough, they will like, actually just like spawn like. How are that many not killing me? What is your damage output? Your damage meant to be 50, why aren't like 4 of you not killing me? Yeah, I guess just weren't hitting me correctly, I don't know, because they were blocking each other or something. I mean, I think, yeah, I think it's like one of them blocks the other one, and then they can't do damage. So that's easy enough. Yeah, and then whatever, that's fine, we can fix that issue later. But yeah, the spawn algorithm seems very good now, so I think we just change our end, like, spawn timer situation, and I think we are, like, going to have a reasonable gameplay here, so let's make you, like, this much. And yeah, I think I have a much more reasonable way of observing, like, where they actually spawn, like. Yeah, they spawn, like, kind of inside the areas and outside of them. It seems pretty good to me. Like, it means, like, some area in particular isn't, like, completely, like, screwed in position. The problem is if you run around fast, then you, like, get pitting the enemies, so we have to adjust the speeds to, like, match up and be reasonable. Because this is causing, like, but yeah, it's, like, once again, like, down the line changes. So I think for now, let's make the character a lot slower. Like, let's make you like, what's our enemy speed at? What the fuck is our enemy speed? Did we define it here? Oh yeah, 350. Okay, we need to modify how we actually represent that. So let's make you like 400. You're a bit faster, but not like a ton faster. So now the enemy should be spawning in a way that isn't like overly. Yeah, now we actually like don't destroy ourselves moving. Yeah, a lot of them spawn when you're standing still, or like they come for you quickly. Relatively, but yeah, we need to adjust timer. It's way too like, it's definitely now like too, not that cooldown, that's fine. Spawn timer, yeah, this needs to be like moved way down. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, but the important thing is they don't like spawn on my character or too close to it. They like spawn a little bit of distance, but that's it. And yeah, that's should be good. I think we need to adjust scale of the enemies as well, so they're smaller than they are. Like they should be smaller than the actual character is, which should make this instead of being like bigger. That should make this a lot easier to like deal with fast spawn rates and everything else. But I think our spray gun mechanic actually kind of plays out favorably now. So let's set our enemy scale to be different. That's a good first step. So enemy transform. Let's set your scale to like, I don't know, 0.3. Let's make you quite a bit smaller than you are already. Yeah, I think that's a much helping change. They don't get to me quite as easily. Yeah, now it's difficult, but like I can keep away from them. And I think that's what I'm going for here. I don't want it to be too easy. And I want the like sliding mechanic to be used. I think I'll make like a mechanic where it becomes immune. Like where you like become immune to damage while you're dashing, so or like I make your like yeah, disable the hitbox of the like yeah. For now the I guess the dashing should like just like kill them off. So let's check our knife damage to after full 100. Let's set our bullet damage to be a bit lower. So let's set you to be like okay, we need like I don't know 30. So now it should be a lot more difficult to actually kill the enemies. We keep on dying. Yeah, so we're not checking for like character like mask, which is an issue. I think the issue is that like our enemy is like not detecting, so how about when we run like the knife, so when if it's dash, so if the dash timer is stopped is false, then we can set like uh set collision layer value 1 false. So now actually if we run like into them with like a then they shouldn't be able to damage us anymore, which is ideal. But then we'll just set this to be true, like as soon as the collision is over. So if it's true, then we just set that okay, this is now true. So this should make us immune during the dashing, which is ideal behavior because it's too problematic otherwise. So we can die. I mean that one has like a cooldown going on, but we might have problems with enemy cooldown as well. I'm noticing that, but I think we can fix that up. This is okay. We don't care. Anyways, I think our that whole situation works now. So now we can actually like dash through our enemies without dying. Yeah, so we can do the actual dashing. It's just like a very dangerous endeavor to do that. Yeah, realistically, we'll have a bunch of different enemy types, and we'll have to definitely hone up like the mechanics of spawning because for now, like all of them do come from that direction, but it makes sense because they are like spawning like below and right, below and left, or like top of me or something, and that will like set them to be more in that side because they do spawn outside of the screen. But that's the fun part. I think we can like do some adjustments to that later to make it more fun for like where some enemies might actually spawn like where you're towards where you're going, which will be making it a lot more dangerous. And of course, when we adjust it so that spawning happens right outside of your screen, like that will help it a lot. Or make it like instead of a crusher be a bit faster, we have the enemies be a bit faster. So actually, what will happen is the character will like enemies will actually catch up to you. Yeah, so they catch up to you, so you can't just keep running away forever because they will like get to you. And when there's too many of them coming in from like a side, you're kind of screwed. I think that's one method we can go about playing this with. And yeah, you can just dash occasionally to like kill a few of them, and that will help you out. But yeah, you can't use that for too much because I think I'm going to decrease the time like cooldown for that as well because it feels quite high in play. So let's just set our dash cooldown to like half of what it is. Like it's or actually like even less. It's like 1 second or and something. 1. Yeah, I think that's a lot more reasonable. Yeah, so we die when the characters get to. I think we'll also do a lot of like just like enemies also having like guns and knives and shit. So I think that will help with like the actual damage part. Like I think we'll generally have like weapons for the enemies, which will help them like damage be detected properly. Yeah, if you run straight into an enemy, you die. And enemies do have a cooldown, so they can't kill you just like immediately. Well, I think that's good for like the enemy spawning for now. Like we can like refine it and make it actually decent like later. For now, we have enemies that spawn, and you can go around and try to kill them, and it works. Yeah, you can do this. So it's a very functional like situation for now. Yeah, for now it's a bit on the difficult side, but gonna fix it. So what to do next? I just want to add in like a cooldown to how like not cooldown. I want to fix like cooldowns are all fine. They all work as intended. But I want to figure out like because like right now you can shoot like while you are in a knife, so I want to go quickly disable that. So like I think I'm gonna set it okay if dash timer is stopped equals true. We just like set this whole block inside of that block, so we indent this, and then we should be good to go. So now if it's stopped, if the dash timer is going on, we can shoot now, like just fine. But if we run this, and we can shoot afterward as well, but we can't like shoot during it, which is the important part. So you can't shoot while you are in the goddamn like yeah. So like you can complete cheat system. But it's not that it gives you like some invulnerability, it gives you some abilities. Makes things a lot more playable. Yep, I think we're good with that. So what we have now is we have enemy spawning, we have a weapon, the enemies can kill you very easily for now. Oh yeah, we should make the killing of the enemies a bit less fast, like this was test value, so let's make it like 20, so it will take a bunch more difficulty to kill you, which should help to balance out the whole issue with how the game is. Yep. So we have our So we have like a dashing function. We have the slide dashing does make it you invulnerable to the enemy, so you can't die while you're using that or take damage. But you can right afterward. So if you like land into an enemy, then that's on you. We might implement like a cooldown for it later. Like, okay, yeah, you have this long before you can take damage again. We might also add in some more values, some more stuff. But anyways, for now we have that. We have a dashing that it makes you immune to damage during it. With a cooldown, the dashing does not allow you to shoot during it anymore. They have enemies that like keep on spawning continuously and will go towards you. So you have to like be fighting them to survive and not die. And there we go. So that's our basic function. And next episode, we'll see what we do. I don't have like a strict plan right now. I think we'll probably like do level generation, so we'll start making like the map work and have the map generate because like in some basic capacity. Like I won't have all the tiles, of course, but we'll have a map that like generates some type of tile like forever, and then figure out like ways of doing a few different ones. But that's the end of this episode, and I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you next time.